Good day everyone, I am Peter Andrilige, and for today's video, I am going to tackle or discuss Chapter 4, the Industrial Revolution in the 17th century. Here are our chapter outline. The Age of Enlightenment, Copernican Revolution, Darwinian Revolution, Freudian Revolution, we have Information Age, and the rest, the Mesoamerican period, Middle East, and African Revolution will be discussed by my partner Maria in her report. Okay. So our learning outcomes, at the end of this chapter, the student should be able to define paradigm shift, articulate ways by which society is transformed by science and technology, trace the history of science and technology in different eras and civilization, and enumerate scientific and technological advancement made by people and some civilization of the 17th century. Change is hardest at the beginning, messiest in the middle, and best at the end. Robin S. Sharma's highlights the three phases of change. The beginning is the hardest because it requires breaking old habits and stepping out of comfort zones. The middle is the messiest due to challenges, uncertainties, and adjustments. But the end is the best because the struggles lead to growth, success, and a better outcome. It emphasizes that while change is difficult and unpredictable, perseverance makes it worthwhile. The world is in constant flux. Everything, including all the material things and ideas, may change accordingly based on the facts which are an output of human curiosity. Seeking answers to human questions added scientific facts, evidence, and concepts in the network of knowledge understandable by man. It means that the more questions asked, the more knowledgeable humans become. In order for us to enumerate and understand the major shifts in the history of science and technology, we must be familiar with the most important scientific events that changed and shaped our society during the time of Nicholas Copernicus, Charles Darwin, and Sigmund Freud. In addition, we have to study the intellectual changes in Mesoamerica, Middle East, and Africa. Moving on to the Age of Enlightenment, a period in Europe in the 18th century when many writers and thinkers began to question established beliefs. These beliefs include the authority of kings or of the church, in favor of the reason and scientific proof. The idea developed that everyone was of equal value and had equal rights. The Age of Enlightenment was an intellectual movement that emphasized reason, science, and individual rights over tradition and religious authority. Thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Locke or John Locke challenged monarchy, the church, and social inequalities, advocating for democracy, freedom, and education. The Age of Enlightenment also promoted thinking or critical thinking, skepticism, and the pursuit of knowledge through empirical evidence or evidences. It encouraged advancements in philosophy, politics, economics, and science, leading to innovations that transformed societies. Enlightenment, or ideas, inspired legal and educational reforms, emphasizing human dignity, tolerance, and secular governance. This period laid the foundation for modern constitutional governance, human rights, and scientific progress, influencing the world beyond Europe. We have fun fact about the Age of Enlightenment. During the Enlightenment, coffee houses were called penny universities because people gathered there to debate ideas over a cheap cup of coffee. Moving on to the Copernican Revolution. The theories and ideas from ancient thinkers about the natural world and the universe laid the foundation of how we understand astronomy today. Though there is only a small number of extraordinary thinkers during the time of antiquity, there is always a divergence of theories and ideas of philosophers during that time. The fact that the Earth is not the center of the solar system is only one of the results of scientific revolution. Mathematics was the common tool used by ancient astronomers to explain the motion of celestial bodies, and on the latter, combined with actual observations that provided enough evidences proving that the Sun is the center of the solar system. The remarkable contributions of ancient astronomers to the development from geocentric to heliocentric model of the universe is listed in the following slides. First, we have Aristotle, the Greek astronomer, philosopher. He proved that the Earth is spherical. Earth was at the center of the universe. Example, the Sun, planets, and the stars were located in spheres that revolve around the Earth. Geocentric. Aristarchus, the first to propose the idea that the Sun was the center of the universe. So he's the first to propose that the Sun is the center of the universe. Then we have Hipparchus, the Greek philosopher or astronomer, considered to be the greatest astronomer of ancient times. He measured the Earth's distance to the Moon, and he discovered the wobbling of the Earth. Then we have Claudius Ptolemy, Greek astronomer, used Hipparchus or ginamit niyo yung kay Hipparchus observations to develop the Ptolemaic system, which describes the Earth as the center of the universe with Sun, Moon, planets, and stars revolving around it in a circular orbit. Then we have Nicolaus Copernicus, Polish astronomer, concluded that the Sun and not the Earth is the center of the universe. And later on we have Galileo Galilei, supported Copernican model of the universe. So, yeah. Then we have Johannes Kepler, German astronomer, formulated the three laws of planetary motion. Moving on to Darwinian Revolution. Charles Robert Darwin is a biologist who was famously known for his work on evolution and the process of natural selection. He studied divinity in Cambridge, where he met Adam Sedgwick and the naturalist John Henslow, who brought back his interest in biology and geology. With the teaching of the church and the influence of Henslow, Darwin also rejected the idea of Lamarck that acquired characteristics and inheritable. His fate altered after his 5 years mapping expedition with the British Army in 1831, headed by Vice Admiral Robert Fitzroy, of the ship named HMS Beagle. He made observations on diversity of the organisms, fossils, comparison to South American organisms, comparison among the organisms in the Galapagos Islands, and the adaptation, which laid the foundation to develop his theory of evolution and natural selection. Evolution, as explained by Darwin, occurs by means of natural selection. In addition, natural selection might occur because of the following reasons. First is overproduction and variation. Some species produce many offspring, but not all of these young will survive. It means that not all of the offsprings do not have the characteristics to survive in the environment. For instance, pawikens lay hundreds of eggs, but only a few hatchlings survive due to predators and environmental challenges. Those with stronger shells or better swimming abilities have a higher chance of survival. Second is we have competition and selection. Competition may or may not be direct, but the idea is always on the survival of organisms. The organisms that survive more likely to reproduce, which transfer their characteristics to their offsprings. As deforestation reduces their habitat, or we're talking about the eagles or the Philippine eagles, must compete for food and nesting sites. Stronger and more skilled hunters are more likely to survive and pass their traits to their offspring. Then we have environmental change or changes. The environment will not adjust for the organism, but rather it is always the organism that will change to adapt to the environment. For instance, we have tarsiers in Bohol. Due to habitat loss, Philippine tarsiers have adapted by being more nocturnal and developing better camouflage to avoid predators and human disturbances. Those that adapted well survived and continued their lineage. So that's it for natural selection. Moving on to Freudian Revolution. Sigmund Freud explained how human mind works and cure its mental illness. He called this method psychoanalysis, and its main goal is to make unconscious conscious. He also developed topographical and structural model of the mind to basically explain the sources of human behavior. The topographical model of the mind will be discussed here. So according to the topographical model of Freud, the mind is divided into three regions. These are the subconscious, preconscious, and conscious mind. So let us tackle first the conscious mind. Conscious mind consists of thoughts that focus on the present state of the mind. Meaning, these are the knowledge that you have. These are the... will be explained later. So, we have preconscious mind, consists of what we can be retrieved from the memory. Then, we have subconscious mind, consists of primitive desires, wishes, or impulse, which is mediated by the preconscious mind. So, this image shows us the Freud's view of human mind, the mental iceberg. We have here the conscious level, thoughts and perceptions, or the perceptions of ours, meaning this stated earlier, the present state of our mind. Meaning, now we think about the situation. For instance, now No, that's it. No, for the conscious level. Then we have pre-conscious level. It is our memories or the stored knowledge. No, so we have then again here in unconscious level or the subconscious. We have the fears, unacceptable sexual desires, violent motives, immoral urges, irrational wishes, selfish needs, and shameful experiences. So as you can see here, we can picture out the uh, topographical model of the mind. So it is easy for us to understand now since we have this model, right? So again, we have conscious level wherein it is the present state of our mind, meaning we are conscious about it and we know it is our thoughts and perceptions of the current events, right? So then we have the again pre-conscious level. This is our memories and the stored knowledge of ours. And lastly, of course, the subconscious or the unconscious level. So again, these are the wishes or desires of ours. Like moving on to the structural model of the mind. The structural model of Freud elaborates his topographical model, which preconscious mind is then divided into superego, ego, and id. We have ego. It drives a socially acceptable way to satisfy the demands of id as it operates the conscious and unconscious mind. Then we have id, comprises eros, the life of survival, or survival instinct of man, and thanatos, the death or destructive instinct of man. Then the superego, it operates based on the principles of morality that drive man to become socially responsible and behave in an acceptable manner. It basically means that superego drives a man follow the rules and revolves the conflict between the ego and the id. To better understand it, here is a scenario. You didn't study for an exam, but you see your classmates' answers. So in id, the pleasure-seeking instinct or the pleasure-seeking instinct. You said, I should copy their answers. I need to pass this exam no matter what. The id focuses on immediate rewards without considering the consequences. Easy to understand, right? Then we have superego about that scenario. No cheating. No, cheating is wrong. I should be honest. Even if I fail, my integrity is more important. The superego reminds you of ethics, honesty, and the consequences of doing something wrong. And lastly, we have ego, the rational decision maker. Maybe I should try my best with what I remember. If I fail, I'll just study harder next time. The ego finds a reasonable balance between the id's temptation and the superego's strict moral standards. This example shows how these three parts of the mind influence decision making in everyday situations. Moving on to the information age. People view communication as one of the most important tools in understanding society. Communication is defined as the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information, or to express ideas, thoughts, feelings, etc. to someone else. It took a lot of time for communication to prosper and develop to what it is being used today. Along with the development of technology, the impacts of distance, location, and the time were eradicated. Most of us believe that the beginning of information age is the time when computers were made available to the people, since computer is the greatest tool to use to access the World Wide Web. Information age, according to Alberts and Popp, 1997, In their paper entitled The Information Age, an anthology on its impact and consequences is divided into three modern information revolution. First modern information revolution, we have second modern information revolution, and we have third modern information revolution. The first modern information revolution during mid-19th century. We have the invention of telegraph by Samuel Morse. And we have Alexander Graham Bell. He patented the first telephone. And then we have Guglielmo Marconi. He proved the feasibility of radio communications like sending and receiving of radio signals. For the second modern information revolution in the mid-20th century, we have Lee De Forest. Early generation computers were made available to everyone. Then we have Pello Taylor Farnsworth. Television as one of the best communication tools. Then we have Sergei Korolev. Artificial satellites were built and linked the world. And we have Claude E. Shannon. Quantified information and measured it in bits. Lastly, we have third modern information revolution during 1980s. The third modern information is labeled as the knowledge revolution. This period is only about the development of communication-related technologies that improved society. It is labeled as the knowledge revolution because it marks the shift from an industrial-based economy to the knowledge-based economy, where information, technology, and digital advancements drive progress. This revolution is characterized by the rapid growth of the internet, artificial intelligence, and global connectivity, making knowledge more accessible than ever before. And that concludes my part. Thank you so much for listening. The remaining topics will be discussed by my partner, Maria.